Hello, folks.
Hi there.
So it's another episode of Würfel Cast. It's early this time uh, due to
It's
Kyle
at the same time as usual.
discovering the world uh,
It's true.
next week. Yeah, so we're in theme for today's topic of the
I
day.
guess.
Kind of a. I'm not sure you're going to be discovering the world as we intend in these games, but who knows? Maybe
Well,
you'll
I'll
be
be discovering northeastern Germany, I guess.
and laying some
I
tiles. Yeah,
don't
undiscovered
know if I'll be doing
lands.
that.
These are undiscovered lands. Anyway,
Yeah.
so as Kyle will be traveling next week, and the week after that, he's still in Essen, Spiel. That means for 2 weeks we don't have any episodes, but that's why we do this one early. I might do a special episode myself on one of the Saturdays. We'll see. We'll
Very
see.
well.
So, all right. Let's see now. We have our usual topics here, and without further ado, sorry, I lost my list here,
Oh,
and it's
that's not
lost.
good.
It's lost, and now it's found. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Let's get to the first topic, as always. Recent plays, as they are
Okay.
recent and they are plays. Yeah, I know.
Fair enough.
Very obvious. Okay, so let's get to the Board Game Geek here.
Yep.
And so, Kyle, why don't you start and tell me what have you played so
All
far?
right. So, a game that I have been playing quite a bit this last week or so. Well, week. This
Or
last
so.
week is the brand new Twilight Inscription.
Or the
So
mhm,
this
yeah,
is the supposedly roll and write version of the much larger game Twilight Imperium.
yeah.
Honestly, I don't know that they're that comparable, but this game, because I actually really like this game. I was not a huge fan of Twilight Imperium, mostly because of the filibuster phase. But in this game, what you're going to do is everyone has four large sheets that you're going to be filling out. And each one has a different way that it works and scores points. And each round, a card is revealed. And on most rounds, you're going to select one of your sheets, and the card is going to give you 1 to 3 resources that you can use to mark things off. For example, that sheet you've got there, if it's the pink resource, it's going to let you cross off circle spots, and if it's the blue or green, it's going to let you circle spots that are next to crossed off spots. Or, there's another one where you're exploring the galaxy, and some are going to let you draw lines, and some are going to let you unlock planets. Basically, you pick which of the four sheets you want to use it on, you use those resources, and then you roll 6 dice. And of the 6 dice, you can use there's 3 black ones that everyone can use, and then the other 3 colored dice you can use if you've unlocked through various mechanisms. You're going to play through, I think it's about 25 rounds. But of those rounds, only about 20 of them are going to be actual action rounds, and the others are going to be various types of upkeep or scoring phases. There's one where you'll do a warfare phase where you'll look at one of your sheets and see if you're stronger than the people to your left or right. There's a production phase where you'll look at another chart that you've kind of unlocked things on and gain resources for it that you can spend when you need to. And there's a voting phase where if you get votes is another resource you can get, and everybody will vote for whether you want a particular measure to pass or fail and gain some sort of reward. And then after all of that, you're going to go, you just keep going, and then whoever has the most points will win. You're going to score each of the four sheets that you've got. And there's also some bonuses by getting to a certain spot on the navigation sheet. There's bonuses for winning those wars. There's bonuses for having unlocked different commodities throughout the game. There's a lot going on here. But it's not a hard game by any means. It's just a big roll and write game. The biggest one so far, at least that I'm familiar with, is Hadrian's Wall, and that one sort of took things and put them on 2 sheets, while this one takes it and puts them on 4. But I actually think the rules in this one are a little bit easier to process even than Hadrian's Wall, so I don't know that it's more complicated. There's just more going on. You've also got special powers that will let you, uh, you know, do some unique thing throughout the course of the game. There's 20 or so of those as well. So I actually have really been enjoying this. It's a little longer for your roll and write game. You know, it's not going to be the 10-minute version that you're used to, and it takes up a lot of space for such a game. But I really do enjoy it, and I'm happy to keep discovering this.
Hmm. So if I think about this one, the question is it necessary to have Twilight Imperium roll and write? Is it worth it overly? I mean, this one looks really complex and huge, and through all those roll and writes and things, it's this kind of a tiny epic syndrome thing where the games they try to make the game smaller in order for it to fit the price and the box, but it didn't necessarily have to be the smaller game. Plus, sometimes it's in the way of the game.
Well, I mean, so if you were going to, I think the game will suffer in comparison to Twilight Imperium. Whether you like it or not, it will suffer by that comparison because they're really not the same thing at all. And this is not trying to produce that experience, love it or hate it, in a smaller package. I think this is an interesting take on what this type of game can do.
Hmm.
It enables you to have some sort of card based predictability, as well as some rolling of dice and lots of things to unlock and fill out. And if you like that kind of game, if you're a person who looks at things like, I don't know, Welcome to the Moon, or the various other Welcome Tos, or Hadrian's Wall, this is right up there in that level of complexity.
Very specific.
Not hard, but I don't know that it's tiny epic Twilight Imperium. I think this is more just an interesting game that kind of stands on its own. And if it had had a different theme on it, it might not. I don't know, right? I mean, some people might buy it because they enjoy that other game and like it,
Hmm.
and want to sort of see it here. From a more cynical perspective, it might be so that all of the art from that game can be reused without having to do any more. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoy it, and I think if we were to do a list of our top 10 favorite roll and write games, which we may have to do at some point, this would probably be on my list because I'm really
Hmm.
enjoying it. I enjoy
Yeah.
everything it offers. So,
Yeah. It sounds and it seems to be like, I would say, a specific game. Yeah, I would categorize it as specific game. It's sprawling. If I show it to my friends and say, "So this is a roll and write we're gonna play," they're gonna say, "Thank you, bye."
right.
It doesn't. For me, if I look at this one, I've played complicated games. I've played roll and writes, all the different ones. I've played Adrian Walls, of course. Um, but I mean, when I look at this one, I don't want to play it because roll and write in my head is something. Maybe it's yeah, I'm it's something small, I'm
Yeah.
kind of expecting roll and write to be roll and write and not this huge maps and things going on here. The other thing is a price. It's about 50 euros, at least what I remember from Essen Spiel preview. I think it was 50 or something like that. It's quite expensive. So for 50, I could get, I just got The Hunger, for example. I could get the whole different game, that like this kind of more broad game than roll and
Mm.
write. So I'm like, I cannot justify the price, the looks, and the idea of roll and writes going sprawling huge. But that's me.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, and again, I think there's sort of two different types of games that fit like this. There's the small, light ones, your ganz schön clever, or these ones that you sort of play out in a few minutes on one sheet, and that's one that appeals to one kind of person. And this is for people who want more of a game that just happens to be managed through crossing stuff out on a sheet.
Okay, yeah. So it's like they take it as a mechanism, because one thing about roll and writes that I really enjoy, and even cartographers, which is takes a little bit space, for everyone to be in. Any other smaller, I really like Dice Stars, for example. So
no, really,
for me, these games are the ones it's summer. I'm going out. I'm sitting outside in the restaurant or a pub or whatever, and playing this roll and write game, because it's so small, easy. Just pull it out, few sheets of paper, not too many components. That's what I like about roll and writes. That's the whole premise is taking them somewhere outside of your home and playing them wherever you can. You can play it in the plane, and etc. So you can, yeah. So this is not this one. You cannot play it on the plane. I mean, you could,
it would be a suboptimal experience.
You would need to buy first class tickets, and at least 4. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, all right. So my pick, and my phone died. Okay. My pick for today, and my recent plays that I had of a particular game, and I had quite a few this week. I think we managed to. Was it this week? Yeah. We managed to play through several scenarios. I don't know. We managed to play like 6 or 7 times, and that's Aeon's End Legacy. We're almost done.
Right.
We are so. I don't want to spoil too much. But it was quite obvious to me. So for a moment, spoilers. Fast forward to like 30 seconds. There's the last game of Aeon's End beyond the last game of Aeon's End that is visible in the rulebook. There is a game number 8 in Aeon's End Legacy, which is hidden. And then you discover it. I discovered it from the start. I discovered it from opening the box. Accidentally. I was like, let's see what's underneath. I'm like, oh, that's quite obvious. It's just a cheap move. Anyway, so but without any other spoilers. But it's not really. I mean, come on. I'm not spoiling the content or anything like that. So without any spoilers, etc. So this is Aeon's End, but you're gradually discovering the story of Gravehold and the heroes and those main characters, and you're also discovering the mechanisms that basically are in a base game or 1 or 2 expansions of Aeon's End. So I don't know. I haven't played the expansions. I only played the base game. And I like this idea because when I went into Aeon's End, I probably was expecting something else. Well, like a long time ago when I played the Aeon's End, I was expecting something else. This deck building is a little bit different in a sense. It feels different. You have, you are working together against the bad guy and their minions. And there are also those other cards, the attack cards and the power cards that are basically taking bombs that explode if you don't deal with them. It's all of that sort of stuff. All of these different abilities that they throw at you, and you feel desperate because you have to deal with all the minions that take a lot of damage. And then there's a boss who has like 100 lives, whatever, like exaggerating, but I mean, like, it's something like that. They has a lot of lives. And your Gravehold has a tiny bit of lives, and you as heroes have a tiny bit of lives. And then you're trying to build up your deck cooperatively, trying to build up your decks, and you have few special abilities. I mean, in the base game, your specialization is not as huge. I would say I would have loved for it to be even more, but then it would be probably too asymmetrical and too unbalanced of a game. But yeah, in this one, let's skip the Aeon's End as it is as a base game, but let's talk about legacy and legacy elements. And why I wanted to talk about this one. Aeon's End Legacy has quite a few issues, though I like the gameplay. First of all, the biggest problem that Aeon's End Legacy has is scaling of power. So, if you're not familiar with Aeon's End and you go into Aeon's End Legacy, you're building up your character as you go. That's obvious. You can see all the things, like where you could put the stickers in the future, whatever. It's not a spoiler. So you are building up your character, and you are basically building up the pool of these card decks, the market. You are basically changing that up, etc. So if you're not doing it wisely, if you're not doing it right, you can be stuck with subpar mages or subpar deck combination when you're fighting the final boss or whatever, it's later in the game. That's the thing. I don't like how the scaling works. I would have loved for not only us progressing, but the Gravehold. Basically, this is the keep you're in, and it also has lives. And if it loses all its life, we'll lose. We don't need to, die ourselves. For the Gravehold to be upgraded as well, I would have loved for everything to be upgraded with us, so we could feel even more powerful. There's not enough customization, so I feel like now the final boss, and I'm amazing, I don't feel that. Also, there's a cool mechanism called Evolve, which I like how cards evolve. I don't know how much of a spoiler it is, whatever. I don't care. If you haven't played this yet, it's 2019, and so it's 2022 already, ending that year soon. So yeah. So I mean, I think you could get evolves in base boxes or whatever. Anyway, evolve is a cool mechanism. I like that. But that's where I feel like the bosses and the monsters and the monster nemesis, they are called nemesis decks are evolving faster than we are. I feel like it would be more exciting to play as nemesis than to play as a mage. At some point.
Can't do that.
Yeah, I cannot do that. So spoilers again. If you don't wanna have spoilers. Another huge problem is I didn't like that mechanism. So at some point in one of the chapters, you are getting those stickers on your basic crystals, which make them like crooked crystals, like subpar crystals. Worst ever decision. It's like, I hate that, because the game progresses, the minions progress, the boss progresses, everyone is becoming more powerful, and they're like, but your crystals are now less powerful. But I mean, I got a few stickers, things, and abilities and such, but it's not on par with how the Nemesis evolves and Nameless evolves, and they just cut off some of the meat of the bone right away and give me like a half a rib. No, don't do that. I want to get all the juicy stuff now that I've combined, now that I'm more powerful. I want to feel even more powerful. Just add some things to those crystals, like the basic crystals. Do something extra on sparks, except those basic cards. Add, don't subtract. That's a huge bummer. And so, yeah, overall, I do enjoy the whole idea and the legacy elements, but so many decisions are not balanced, in the sense that you should feel like in Clank Legacy, each time you progress, you feel like you're progressing. All the new stuff that you open up, all these new cards.
I think you're, we might have turned off your sound. I'm not hearing you at all anymore.
Hello?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah. So I don't know where I left off, but I mean, like, so the overall thing is that when you make progress in Legacy, when designers design this thing, make it a progress all the way through, and not this kind of a make bosses more difficult. Don't nerf the characters themselves. Make the characters powerful as well, or let's say at some point don't give them that something extra. Don't take away from them. Huge mistake. Yeah, I'm. We are at the last game. We're at the last game, and I feel like I analyzed and we played so many times in a row. I don't think how I can beat the last boss. I cannot imagine.
So I will say, so that last boss is actually one of my favorite in all of the bosses of all of the 16 million Aeon's End expansions that there are, and I regularly pull him out and just play him as a one-off. But I enjoyed the Legacy experience, but I think I've told you the second Legacy game is my least favorite of all of them, of all of the expansions outright, just because I don't think this game does Legacy right. What I do like, though, is once you get into the next box, I can't remember which one.
New Age.
New Age, they change the way they do it. And what they do instead is they will allow sort of a do-it-yourself Legacy story if you want one, and give you the way to sort of pick 4 bosses at different power levels and add sort of bonuses that you can give yourself as you progress as well. And then it's not really a Legacy, but you can sort of play a 4-game campaign. And I think that is how the game shines. So I think this was sort of their trial run at it, and they got a little bit better as you get into New Age, and then Outcast, I think but both of those do it really well. And I've really enjoyed, because they give you all the components you need to take any of the bosses and put them into that sort of story format, which I really think works well.
Let's see, yeah. But yeah, that these are my concerns about this Legacy game. I mean, yeah. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got to say it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the next topic, which is crowdfunding, and let's get to the crowdfunding website. So, Kyle, tell me, where is your project?
So this one is on GameFound.
Okay.
And the game is called Kingdom Come Deliverance. You can see it right there.
At that one, yeah.
It's right there first and foremost. So this looks like yet another story app-driven game set in a medieval world. This one promises that it will be no dragons, zombies, or mages, just regular people doing regular stuff, and will allow you to explore the Middle Ages in Bohemia, which is something I'm sure everyone's always wanted to do. But it does look very interesting. I've actually really enjoyed some of these games that are set kind of in this setting and that have some sort of app or device that's going to manage my progress and story. This one looks very much like your kind of RPG type of a game, the video game type that you're just playing on the tabletop. There's a lot there. It's a little bit expensive, but it looks kind of interesting. You're going to develop the skills that you want, and supposedly you can pick any path you like and go that way. You'll be exploring the map as you go, as we're kind of talking about today. You'll have characters that you'll interact with, and you put different bases on them to show sort of their attitude towards you. There's, friendly people, unfriendly, suspicious, and based upon the color base they have, supposedly it will cause different kinds of story interactions. I don't really know much about how you play it, but that's kind of what I got from this page, and it made me interested in the game. So this one looks interesting. I'm curious to try it.
Yeah, so I looked at this one. It might have been my pick for today, Then I realized it, like you said, no dragons, no fantasy, no zombies, no not like good versus evil, and that's where I like one thing is that it's kind of like a 15th century struggle between humans and their whatever the kingdoms and such.
It's 15th century. This war is mine, or this war of mine.
Yeah, that's where I think like first of all, it seems like this is a video game. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I think this is a video game.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It might be.
I don't know. I've not heard of it.
I've heard about this one. Let me see for a moment. Kingdom Come. It's a video game. Yes. Yeah, okay. Because this one says the board game. It's then it should be there should be something else about this one.
Not always.
Then it's a bad thing. Anyway, it feels like, for me at least, it's just a feel. I look at this project just to feel like some things, if they are made into a movie or a video game, especially a video game, should stay as a video game and not made into a board game. Maybe it's good. I mean, like you choose your paths and things. It looks okay. It looks generic. I don't like the cover. It doesn't look good. It doesn't call me, and that's the thing. I'm not as interested in this kind of a more real life setting of 15th century. Though it is interesting. There are several video games that use that kind of a thing as well. The Crusader Kings, I think Crusaders, stuff like that. I don't remember. Anyway, there's like this kind of a Game of Thrones, but real life kind of a things. There are more of these video games that are really popular and I don't know. I'm predicting this will not be as good as it seems to be.
We'll see, I guess. I mean, I don't play a lot of video games because video games make me angry. And more than that, they make me obsessed, and I have to play the game forever until I finish it. So I try and not play them more than once a year. So a board game, usually I can put away if I need to. And I'm curious to try this one. I think it'll be interesting and fun. I do like the fact that it's going to be sort of a regular medieval world, not, I've got a lot of games with dragons and wizards and Cthulhu in them, so I'm curious to try a non-magical
Bohemian.
The only Middle Ages game I have in the games I have in that setting that are realistic involve starvation and building a farm. So
yeah, true. So all of that doesn't really. Anyway,
and as far as I can tell, there's no farming in this game.
Okay. So for my project, let's go to Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so this is the game that I don't think looks good. It reminds me of Food Chain Magnate just a bit. You'll see why. But I like the whole idea and the theme. I chose it for the theme. It's Age of Comics. I don't know if you've seen that, the Golden Years yet. So this is Age of Comics, the Golden Years. So it says a worker placement board game in which you play the role of fictional comic book publisher during the Golden Age of Comics. Cool idea. I like that. This kind of a cover. I like the cover. It's, it's stylish, and the whole campaign is based on that kind of a thing. Yeah. So if you look, there are all those comics. It's a worker placement. I mean, like, that's cool. You're publishing comics. And worker placement is one of my favorite mechanisms, I like worker placement a lot. And yeah, it's not much I can say about this game, but maybe if I show you, for example, this one, if you look at the board, and so, yeah, you can see all of these things, and, this kind of a plain, squared, washed out, brownish colors. It looks stylish, but it's not good. I mean, like they could have made it into stylized? More stylized. Yeah, I'm not good. My English not good. Anyway, stylized, but Um, they could have made it into a better looking game, but still kind of delivering that old time thing, But look at this. Look at this. This looks like something that came out from Fuji Magnet. The board. Look at that board. Ooh, I love it.
It's more my style of game than yours.
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds interesting. Ultra wide. It's like the screens, the monitors for PCs or the what's the TVs. It's ultra wide 6-fold board, so it's extremely wide. Be careful.
I don't know that that's a selling point.
This is cool. This I like. Like you have those styles, which are comics. I mean, like this is really cool.
Okay, well,
Outlaws, Carmilla. Look at that love letter. Freedom comics. Okay. Anyway,
right.
And this one costs. Standard edition costs 45 euros. Euros and dollars are now like 1-to-1, basically, almost a ratio. Even like dollars is in more. Yeah, collector's edition 65. Not too much. I mean,
okay.
I don't know what you get here, but if it's collector, it's like a deluxeified edition. Why not get for 65 euros?
Show up to your house in 2027.
Yes. When the comics are no more.
Well, I think these are pretend comics anyway, so.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the crowdfunding, and let's get back to let's get forward to the next topic, which is versus the world, where we talk about our favorite games and how other people dislike them so much that we need to defend them.
Okay.
Kyle, why don't you start?
Let's go. We're going to talk. We're going through my favorite games here, so we're going to talk today about a game that I rather enjoy and talk about occasionally, which is called Spirit Island.
Ooh. I will not have comment on that because I didn't. I didn't give it a. I gave it a 5, so it's not a.
Let's go ahead and look at the people who gave it a 1.
Yeah, let's go for a 1 and
just look at a few of these.
Let me see if I can.
And there are lots of people
has comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. So the first one we have here is awful, boring, overrated, co-op, least interesting theme imaginable.
Co-op. Think that comma, it's also a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that comma before the co-op is probably not intended, unless this person probably shouldn't have been playing it to begin with, because, yes, it is a cooperative game. I don't know that that's a positive or negative. Awful and boring, well, okay. Overrated, well, I mean, this is a very high-rated game, and if you didn't like it, you could think that. Least interesting theme imaginable, though, I'm not sure that that's true.
Yeah, I would also argue that. It's really interesting theme.
We could come up with some less interesting themes, such as, I don't know, filing court documents in the file
trading in Mediterranean
office,
mail delivery,
making photocopies, stuffing envelopes. I mean, there are lots more boring themes we could come up with. Most of them I do every day on my job. But so yeah, I mean, I think the theme's quite fascinating. It's an interesting take, and there's interesting and unique characters that make the game a lot of fun.
They just didn't like it. That's fine. Okay.
All right, let's go to the next one. And this one says, tedious, repetitive, overly complex. 2 hours into a game, you have no idea if you're winning or losing, and after 2 hours, you just don't care. The rules are incredibly poorly written, and you need to expect 4 to 6 hours just to try to make sense of them, and then another 2 to 4 hours playing the game only to find that you don't understand the point of the game. The parts are very small and hard to handle, and the 2-board play space plus the amount of supply you have mean you need a big table to play this on. Okay. I played it with one other player. I could not imagine 4 players trying to play the game. It's impossible to get a common understanding of what you're supposed to be doing. I liked the novel concept, but execution is bad. All right, let's talk about this. So I don't think the game is tedious. Actually, I rather enjoy it, but that's obviously a personal preference. Repetitive. The game is very procedural, and that's something I will definitely
I could see
say,
that,
right?
yeah.
You're going to be doing the same thing every round. There's just sort of very much a flow to the game. So, all right, we can go there. Overly complex, and I'm not sure. I think sometimes people confuse complexity with procedure, because all greater than games are very procedural,
I
and
would
you
argue a
have
little
to
bit
follow
that
the
it's
procedure.
that it's a little bit for me. It's also too complex for the outcome that is. I mean, I would say overly complex, but it could have been streamlined a bit more. That's
We
I would
will see
agree.
that in October, because in October the new streamlined beginner version of Spirit Island is coming out.
For
I'm actually
toddlers,
very interested. It's Twilight. It's Spirit Island for toddlers. 2-hour game. I think you're doing something wrong if it's lasting 2 hours. As to 4 to 6 hours to get through the rule book, I don't know if this person's not a native speaker or something, but I you're having a bit of a problem. So I will not defend the rules the way that they are organized.
the rule book is bad. I've read it.
Not
It's
bad.
not good.
It's
It's
just
bad.
counterintuitive, right? Because they decided
But
to
that's
put,
bad.
okay, we're going to do two. It's an unusual choice, and I do not like the rule book, and I definitely
Yeah.
think it could have been better. And I'm hoping that the new version, the toddler version, has a better rule book.
Mhm.
It does take a lot of table space. I don't know that I would enjoy playing it with 4 players to begin with. I think that would just add time without adding a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So there are some complaints here, but I, I think this person might need to try it with somebody who knows the game better.
Yeah. I mean, probably they had a really poor experience with learning the game. Yes, learning it is hard. Rulebook, I would say it's plain bad. For me, it's a plain bad rulebook. I read it, and it's not intuitive. But when the rulebook is not intuitive, it's bad. I mean, like, I would not defend such counterintuitive approach to rulebooks. Never.
It is not my favorite rule book either. It's one that definitely took some getting into.
I mean, Greater Than Games and Sentinels of Multiverse, for example, such a bad rulebook. Every rulebook they do, I think, seems
rule books.
No, they need they need an editor there. But okay, but overall, yeah, tedious, repetitive. I would say repetitive, procedural, like you said, which I didn't like that much in Spirit Island. And yeah, I would say that still procedural and overly complex can go together, but just not. I'm not as strongly.
One is not necessarily the other.
Agree. Yeah, I'm not strongly agreeing with that person saying it's overly complex. It's not. It is procedural. You can kind of understand all the steps. How to win, of course, you don't understand that. You have to play more. It's an experience. In a sense, you have to experience those spirits themselves, so you can see how the different spirits are combined together. But yeah, it is a complex game, and I would say that it could have been just a tiny bit more streamlined, and I would have liked it so much more.
Well,
it would have been a 7 or 8. Yeah.
We will see in October. The one thing I'm wondering, though, is if this person followed the suggested first game rules, right? Because the game actually gives you 4 spirits that come with sort of pre-constructed decks that let you progress through them, and takes some of that out of the equation. But who knows, right?
Yeah. So
I love this next one here. It's
okay. Let's do the last one. Yeah.
One text. It just says Euro.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, okay.
I like this one too. Perhaps more fun than waterboarding, but debatable.
I definitely think it's more fun than waterboarding.
So the theme is stupid and the gameplay is very tedious. Okay, so it's the same thing. I don't get why it's such a boring game is so popular. Okay, whatever. And let's just go through. I think this last comment here, so we don't waste too much time.
Absurdly long.
No, the other one, mechanically 2 words.
All right. Mechanically, 2 words need streamlining. That is not a punchy comment at all. Not nearly as punchy as this person thought it would be. Apart from the theme, I don't see what draws anybody in with this Fern Gully with numbers, filed off-board game. Apart from it being not similar to Pandemic. Yeah. I don't see why there would be slow powers and fast powers, apart from the fact that it's a game. Okay. Ironically, this game is designed to prevent quarterbacking, but the convoluted rules of this game would insist on quarterbacking. Also, Why would spirits of the land get more powerful when the colonists get more influence on the map? I don't know that that's a rule in the game at all. Shouldn't it be reversed? If that was the case, this might actually be good and interesting, but nope. Okay, so the first sentence doesn't make a lot of sense other than, yes, it is different from Pandemic. It's a different style of cooperative game, and the way that things work is fundamentally different, which I actually think is refreshing. Fast and slow powers, yes, that is a game mechanism. That's exactly what it is, because it's actually a game. And then the thing about, I don't understand this piece about spirits getting more powerful when colonists get more influence. That's not actually part of the game at all. I really have no idea what that's referring to. You get more powerful over time as your own influence grows. And the colonists get more powerful over time as they've had time to spread out. I mean, both of those things happen simultaneously. As you grow and improve your own deck and your hand and your abilities, and then also the colonists get very powerful very quickly, and then you lose. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, this person did not enjoy it, but that's fine.
Yeah, I don't hate the game. I can see people struggling with, as I said, rules and learning the game, and the game being overly complex, because it is a complex game. It is a procedural game. I would see people struggling with that, and that's why people don't like it. But I wouldn't
struggle with that.
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely a game you need to learn from somebody and not from the rule book,
which is bad for a game.
Well, it's definitely not the negative game's strong suit.
Anyway.
But anyway, well, there you go.
Let's get to, we're going through my favorite games as well, and let's go to Empires, Age of Discovery. Let's do this deluxe certified version. It has quite a few ratings here. I don't know if we'll have any comments on this one. Has comments, okay. Protest vote celebrates both physical and cultural genocide. That's a hard topic.
One of those people.
It's a hard topic, but I would, for myself, and I don't know if anybody would agree with me, it's just my opinion, we need to stop seeing bad things everywhere we might tend to see them, We need to stop, putting labels on things that are not intended to be this way. This is my opinion in a broad sense. Okay. EGG swindles people again, and support legal games. Time and time again, they use unscrupulous tactics to part people with their money. They are a pimple on the face of the board game industry. This is just a hate comment, and I would say I would definitely report this comment to BGG and say, I'm sorry. Look, I know you can express your opinions on things, but just go to them, say it to their face, and talk to them about that. Say that you are not, you're worried they're doing something wrong and something like that. Talk about that,
or this game.
So it's not about, like, do not do not rate a particular game with the expectancy to harm the company. Go to that company, do it the other way. Go to the forums and say, so Eagle Griffin Games, they have lights and whatever. It's like, do all such things. Don't put it in the game rating. It's inappropriate. Very inappropriate. Do not rate the designer. For example, there are many publishers who's are not like the designers are not publishers. Though they take designers from like whatever, the freelance designers to make the game. And so the designer made the game, the company published it, then the company did something wrong. That is designer. Yeah, for example, I don't
understand what this is.
No, but overly, is designer responsible for what the publisher does? No, they're different people. That's the freelance designer, and I'm not talking about this particular game, but overly, such comments are hateful, bad. Do not do that. Anyway, okay, let's go with this one. From a pure female's point of view, it's an okay game with potential for ridiculous endgame swings that are unpredictable. Not better than okay, because I kind of felt like the game said that do this to get points, and then I did. Okay, you talk with the game, fine. Kind of a first degree game, if you will. However, there are various ways to accumulate points during the game, and in the third age it is possible that one of the ways will get a huge bonus. Randomly giving the game to the player who happened to force that action during play. Finally, it moved it at a good pace and was well presented in terms of usability, reducing the complexity. So let's go with that part. From a pure female's point of view, okay, it's a game. I don't see what's the ridiculous endgame swings that are going on there. You're building yourself up. You're doing it progressively through different ages. You are grabbing those different building tiles. If you do not spend money on those building tiles, it's your own fault. You are leaving yourself behind. That's how it is. It's an engine building game. You're progressively getting better and better. You're getting goods. You're getting tiles which give you extra workers or other abilities, etc. You are building yourself up through all those different ages. It's gradual. I haven't seen nobody playing the game with me where there have been like huge swings. I mean, you are building up to something, and if at the end you have discovered so many things, and you got a lot of points for that, and you get a right building, you can, like, the thing is that you can manipulate the turn order. You can do that. So it's your choice. I don't agree with that. Not better than okay, because okay, so the game says do this to get points, and then I did. Every game says do this, and then you gain something. Every possible game. That's the whole premise of a procedural stuff of each game. Like, I don't understand this comment here. What means the game tells you to do something, you do that? It's like, okay, do something like, so the game says in the rules that I need to put this token over here. I will not put this token over here. I will put this token, I will throw it out of the window. Maybe I'll get something else, what? It's, okay, gonna agree, okay. There are various ways to accumulate points during the game, yes, and a ton, and I won because of that. Not because of the last, because I built it up on the map. I built myself up on the map because it has area control, etc. Huge bonus, whatever. And randomly giving that to the player. It's not randomly. I mean, yes, tiles come up randomly, but it's everyone's choice to go and do something and build yourself up to that point. If you're all playing for the first time, I always say, when you're playing the game for the first time, think about it as a training session. Think about it as a learning game. And we're all playing it for the first time. We will most likely, in a strategic game, do some stupid choices. and do some mistakes that will hinder our strategy. That's fine. That's a learning game. Next time, you already know. It's with every game, except the random like it seems that the player plays exploding kittens, where it doesn't really matter what round it is. It's just doing something happens. Whoa. Okay. Finally, it moved at a good pace and was well presented in terms of usability. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so however, the 4 is because it is a game that is all about the fun of genocide. Seriously, you must commit genocide to explore successfully. Although it was fun to see someone get beat back once. I do get that the theme is problematic, but once again, I have problems with cancel culture things going on everywhere. It's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna go deep into this game because there will be haters right away, and I don't want that. Yeah, if they have problem with the theme, a huge problem with the theme, that's fine. It's totally acceptable.
That's a personal choice.
Yes, that's a personal choice.
I don't.
Think and don't tell me it's an overall choice. I mean the 4. I think the 4 is like the point number 4, like the the argument number 4. So yeah, but
it's a strange way to phrase it.
Everything you see in everything is a personal choice, and we are striving to be better human beings and be considerate of the others and be acceptable of the others. But yeah, these are hard topics. Anyway, let's get away from this.
All right.
And let's get to our topic of the day now.
Let's go.
Top 10 World Discovery Games.
Yeah, sort of. We'll see.
so the thing is that, and I talked to Kyle, it's so in a sense these are like exploration games, in a sense. Yeah, you could say, you could predict, let's do top 10 exploration games. But one thing that I said to Kyle is these games are I would say we also wanted to put it as world builder games, you know. These are the games where, as you are exploring, you're also building up the environment, the world. I'm not gonna go scale with the world only. You know, it's you're building up the environment. You're building up the map. So you're building up the surroundings. So now you have more choices to where to go, etc. You know, it's like you are basically building up the map. I would say this is how I see this list. And you might not agree with some of mine. Some of them are a little bit loosey-goosey. Some of them are more. And I had argument with myself, a loud argument with myself about one of the games. Or a few of the games. But
I hope you won.
Some of us won. Yeah. Some of me won. Yeah. Anyway, let's see.
You will totally agree with each and every one of mine. Guaranteed.
Okay. Then let's go to number 10.
All right. Okay. So my number 10 that you're totally going to agree with is Food Chain Magnate. And when I was thinking about it, right, because in this game you are definitely building up. Okay, it's not a beautiful map, but you're building up and developing this world. You're placing your new restaurants in new places. You're uncovering new neighborhoods. You're putting out new things in new ways to help you maximize the exploration of profit. And although this is not an exploration game by any means, you are definitely doing what we talked about, which is placing things on this map and sort of building up and developing it just so in a way that hopefully helps you and does not help your opponents. but the positioning and where things go on this map is so key to your victory, right? I mean, are you going to put neighborhoods right next to billboards that advertise your products? Well, yes, you are. And as you go through, you're developing not only your own corporation, but also the world around you.
Yeah,
Look,
no,
I agree it's ugly.
no. I can see that. Yeah. I was also considering such games. With some of them, I crossed them off the list because it didn't feel like I'm building up a map surrounding me. Because here, at least, you I think you go around the map or something like that. Kind of might feel like that theme-wise, maybe. With such games, and I'll tell right away, for example, Castlemaking Ludwig, for example. Castlemaking Ludwig, you build up your things. It might be on your list, but you build up the thing, you explore, you explore the map, the castle, but you're not going around the castle, you're not really, it doesn't feel like you're building a world. It's just, laying the tiles, and not every tiling game is building the world game.
Certainly. In this one, the map is fixed from the beginning. It's actually you're developing it as you go, right? I mean, that arrangement of tile, you're never going to flip a new tile and add it. What you're doing is improving those tiles and making them work. So, you put a new neighborhood in here next to your restaurant. You put a new restaurant over here to compete with someone else's. And so you're really developing this world of people who are hungry for pizza.
If you say develop, yeah, it's on that age of I don't know. Okay,
I think this is my only wonky pick, but I think it works.
So for my number 10, this is the list where we're also I tried not to repeat myself from the exploration list. I didn't want to just these are my top 10 exploration games. It's, as we said, world discovery, world building, world developing game. That's fine. I mean, we can be loosey-goose in this one. My number 10 is a game that has a part of that where you are basically building up the spots. Thematically, you are discovering the jungle and the world, and that's Last Ruins of Urnak.
Okay.
And in Last Ruins of Urnak, you are so basically these are these where are these spots? You are building up those worker spots. Theme wise, you are using your exploration tokens, you're exploring new spaces, and as you go, you are building up more and more of these spaces, because there's nothing on those spaces before, and then you put the tile there. Now it's an available worker spot where everybody can go.
Not nothing. There's an idol.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, like this feels like you are building up the map, the world, the jungle, basically, in a sense. So it's a part of the game, but it's quite a huge part of the game, and that's my number 10, Last Ruins of Urnak.
But is it a deck building game?
Deck construction game, I would say, in a sense.
I enjoy Arnak. I did not think of it, but I can see what you're talking about. I mean, in the same sense that you're doing it in Food Chain Magnate, you're kind of exploring this and putting stuff out to give you more options later.
You're developing worker spots because there's nothing at the beginning, and then you're basically discovering those, putting them down. Now you have more possibilities where to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get to number 9.
Okay, my number 9.
What you're going to embarrass yourself with?
Is, I don't think you've played it. It's Claustrophobia 1649. I think that's the right year number. I can never remember the year. I hate when there are years in a game. But in this, you're underground. Oh, okay. Well,
whatever.
I got claustrophobia out there. So in this, you're sort of underground in these catacombs, and you are really kind of exploring them. I mean, one player is exploring them, and one player is using them to bring out all kinds of monsters. But you're definitely sort of developing this dark underground world as you go, and trying to use it in a way. Now, yeah, that's the new one. And you start sort of with a map.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a million scenarios, right? And some are going to use it more than others. But that's really what you're doing, right? You go out there, you put out. This one's kind of like that Subterra game you like, except with asymmetrical sides and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
combat going on.
Mm-hmm. And there's like a 2,000 pictures of miniatures, just miniatures and painted
There
miniatures.
are, yeah,
Okay, I
which
see.
is unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
this is the one I was thinking about when I thought about this theme. Like you are basically
not this one.
building up the map, literally. So this is
Yeah,
this is a really good pick. I haven't played that one, but this is the thing that you do.
See,
Okay.
I didn't embarrass myself.
That's fine. I embarrassed myself by saying that you're gonna embarrass yourself. Anyway, my number 9 is another kind of a little bit of a loosey goosey because there's like it's a part of the game, but you're still putting down the tiles, exploring the island, and you're basically exploring the sea and the islands, whatever. It's Vanuatu. Vanuatu is action selection worker placement game in a sense, because it's not your usual. You're placing down the discs, and whoever has the majority of discs, that player gets to do the action. All other stuff. It's a heavier game in a sense. It's a heavier game in a sense of thinking like where to put the different discs and such. But the part of the game is also exploring this archipelago thing and laying down the tiles. You're basically taking out the tiles and you're rotating them, then you're putting them down. You're building up this sea space, which is a very important part of the game. That's where I feel like this game really counts as the world building game. So yeah,
I don't know anything about this game, so I can't speak to it.
You have not played Vanuatu?
I have not.
Oh, you have to.
Ah.
You
Maybe
you
someday
really
I
need
will.
to experience that game. It's a really good game. It's just harsh. It's like if you miscalculate, it might be harsh, or somebody blocks you out. There's some like a little bit of like take that element, but not in a sense of like I'm just no, not in the sense that you're gonna lose things, but it's just if somebody blocks you out from your space where you needed to get this thing in order to do another thing, that might be the case, but it's just how it is. It's like this area control of the different, like basically these are action spots, worker spots. You're putting down the discs, so there's that really harsh decisions going on in there. But this is fun. Yeah.
Someday maybe I'll try it.
On the cruise.
It's always a possibility.
All right, let's go to number 8.
Okay. My number 8. My number 8 is a game I don't actually talk about that much, but it definitely feels like it fits the theme to me. There's 2 iterations of it, and it's often eclipsed by its younger brother. But the game is called Vast.
Mm-hmm.
And in Vast, let's talk specifically about the Crystal Caverns version, not the Mysterious Manor. But what you're doing is developing this cavern, this cave, and every turn you're going to be putting out. Look, okay, they're not great looking, but you're going to be putting out these tokens.
Amazingly looking.
It's going to make this. It's going to make this sort of winding cave that you then have to play around in. And yes, there's a lot of symbols, and those symbols are used by different factions to do different things. There's the goblin symbols where they can spawn, and then there's the hero who's kind of tasked with going out and discovering the cave, and then there's a dragon who's trying to take a nap under the cave. But as you sort of go out, you're building this cave, and you're trying to build it in a way that's going to help you achieve your own unique rules. It's again, I don't know that the cave itself is gorgeous. It was the first real game from this company, and they've kind of come a long way in the ensuing years. But the positioning and sort of the map that you're exploring can be very key to being able to achieve what you want to, or causing you to fail. And as you are sort of exploring it in a way that makes it meaningful to you, it can be a really interesting world and map discovery. as you're just kind of going out and exploring. I really enjoy it. I do think that it's been eclipsed by Root, right? I mean, nobody really talks about Vast anymore. But when it came out, it was the first game that had ever done something this crazy.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll not play that. All right, my number 8 is another game where it's just a part of the game, but it's an important part of the game in at least in some of the scenarios. I think in all the scenarios. That's in Robinson Crusoe.
Okay.
As you are exploring the island, you are basically laying down these tiles and you're exploring, all this extra stuff. There's a lot of worker placement and there's other parts of the game that are going on. But I mean, the huge part of the game is also exploring this island, because sometimes you need to for specific scenarios and things, and you need to find the caves and the camp where to build your camp, etc. So all of these stuff and the extra resources that you get, you are basically building up this map as you go. It's a small map to build, but Yeah,
it is a very small map, but I can see what you're coming from here. It's been forever since I played that, though. It makes me want to try it again.
Mm-hmm. It's a good cooperative. Basically jungle discovering and trying to survive game. Most likely will not survive kind of a game. Maybe one thing I don't like that much about the game is it's scenario based. Very specific things you need to do. I would have loved for Robinson Crusoe to be, or have kind of a scenario where it's like a little bit more sandbox. You need to get to whatever goal, but it's even more sandboxy thing, Like, for example, I like how Paleo is more approachable to me, because the end goal is to do one thing: paint this wall painting thing, the mammoth.
Sure.
But all these different modules and things, how you get there it's different, So I would have loved for it to be at some point just there's one particular goal you need to survive on the island, but there are all those different modules of how you can get there, on what are the obstacles. That would have been more fun for me. But overall, a really cool. It's building up everything. Basically, you're building up tools, you're building up things, you're exploring, discovering. I like the system of the cards, where it might come back and haunt you, the event that you draw, and you make a decision, etc. All the stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to pull this one out again. Although there's supposed to be a new version that I ordered on GameFound years ago, so maybe I'll wait for that one to come.
A few more years then. Let's get to number 7.
Probably. Okay, so the reason I said let's talk about Vast the Crystal Caverns, not the Mysterious Manor, is because now we have something about a mysterious manor, which is Mansions of Madness. So this game is all about the discovery, especially in the second edition, which is what I'm talking about here. You don't have any idea what this mansion is going to look like. It sometimes can be a cave or a temple as well. You just sort of know where you start. And as you go through the game, you have the app, which is going to tell you what you find, where the dead ends are, where the rooms are, what's in them. You're going through and really having an exploratory experience, developing the map. Maybe not through your own choices, although sometimes, yes, but sort of experiencing and exploring the map as you go. And it's going to be different, I think, every time. Maybe the layout won't. Who knows, right? I haven't played every scenario 100 times. But it could be anything from a train to an underground serpent temple to some creepy house on the hill. Oh, yes, it is my number 7. And
not mine.
It's
I'm
definitely
sorry.
got this feel of exploration and discovery as you go.
Yeah, I haven't played this one. I would love to play this one. I can totally see. As you talked about this game, I remembered one other game that I forgot about and might have been on my list. I was thinking about Betrayal at the House on the Hill right now.
Okay.
I think I skipped it because I looked at my higher ranked games, and I have quite a few problems with this game, and I played it in ages. So I accidentally, I think, skipped that game. But for the purpose of this list, it might have been on the list. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, who knows?
Whatever. There are quite a few games out there. Anyway, now this is my number 7. My number 7 is basically discovering a particular area in a particular amount of time and trying to find the exit and escape it. And that's Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Really?
Yeah. Escape the Curse of the Temple is all about laying those tiles down and trying to, survive and activate the portals and things with just rolling dice and as fast as possible, getting the right symbols, etc., and then finding the exit. But this is, you are basically, each time you build a different map, each time you are discovering this temple in a different way, and it's very fast and nervous and stressful and fun. As a base game, for example, I could totally see people having a lot of fun with this one, even if it's stressful enough. So yeah, that's for me. It fits this list.
Okay.
Because it's literally take out the tile, put it there, and you are at the end of the game. You have this kind of a map, and then you have those paths and things you're going through, etc. So that's cool. It's building up.
Definitely fits, and I considered it.
Okay, let's get to number 6 then. You might consider it again.
I won't be considering it on my number 6. Instead, on my number 6 is another game that you haven't played, but one that definitely conveys a feeling of exploration and discovery, and just sort of discovering and building up the map. And that is any of the now 4 iterations of Hexplore It. I've only actually played 3 of them. The new one, the vampire one, just arrived, and I haven't had a chance to crack it out yet. But I don't know. I would go with any of them. I can't speak to the vampire one, which is the one you've selected. But in the game, what you have is a fairly ugly looking map that you start with, and then as you sort of go out into the edges, you're going to be. And again, this is, you've got the vampire one here, which I'm not sure if it even is a part of it. I might find a different one. But hey, it looks like it is. But as you go out into sort of the edges of the map,
it's the same.
You're going to be flipping over and adding new pieces, which are going to have different kinds of shrines and different kinds of dungeons and different kinds of challenges and shops or whatever it might be. The game is definitely all about exploring this world, but you are building it, and you can build it in pretty much any array you like, and it'll be different every time. The best one currently for me is the second, because there's just a little bit more interactivity between the different parts of the world. But I enjoy all of the iterations so far, and it's definitely got both the exploration and adventure feel, and also this sort of map development and discovery.
And also has the exploration. Ha ha ha.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be here all day.
All right, so my number 6 is something we discussed this game before this topic, and I said that it's not really it. But then I thought about it again, and as you put the different games as Fuji Magnet, and I put Vanuatu, etc. on the list, and Lost Ruins of Arnak, I feel like it still counts as this kind of a world discovery game, and that's Nemesis. And you can see my favorite games are not in the order of, but how much I feel like this exploration really feels like this discovery thing. And in Nemesis, the discovery of tiles is huge, because you're on this ship, and although why I didn't consider it at some point is that all the tiles are laid out. Number 1 tiles are always there. Number 2 tiles, some of them are, some of them aren't. But at the beginning of the game, nothing is open on this map of the ship. You know, it's not a world, it's a ship, but nothing is open. And as you go, you discover these new rooms. You can go anywhere, of course, but I mean, like, you are building up the ship as you go, I would say. And it might be, all the rooms will be in different locations each game you play because of randomizer thing. So I feel like Nemesis as Aliens, basically the board game with tons of rules, not such a great rule book, and not such a really well-scaled difficulty because there's a lot of random and you might get killed. Whatever, you know, it's just a fun experience. It's long. It might be tedious for the first time where you're just learning the game, but then as you know the game, you're just exploring, doing stuff, and exploring the ship and building up the ship. So eventually you have the ship built up and like, okay, so now we can go fire the signal on this side of the map and then go to the other side of the map through this and this room. So there I can activate my card, and in this room I can search for the medical item so I can heal you and then go there. Like, as you build up the ship, it becomes more of a strategic game. So yeah, sure. Nemesis, my number 6.
Okay, there you go. I consider this one myself, so I don't fault you for it.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Let's go to number 5.
My number 5 is a brand new one. I was playing it a lot the last couple of weeks, and this is Trudvang. And much like you were talking about with Nemesis, Trudvang. And so Trud.
Yeah. Trudvang Legends?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this one, you've got, if you open to a picture, you'll see it's just got a regular board. But as you play through your sessions, there are these little slots there, these little like plastic windows, and you're going to be discovering different things about these cities that you're going to be slotting into there, and that's going to sort of make the city have a different, or the location have different effects at different points during your story.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so, you know, you've got this long deck of cards that's eventually going to come out, but as you do things, the cities are going to become favorable to you, unfavorable. They'll give you positive actions, negative actions. There could be some king out there that you spurned, and now he's going to mess you up every time you come there. And it's a very interesting discovery and story game. Now, I have some problems with the game because, for example, you can't lose. It's always nice to know you're going to win eventually. But at least sort of for purposes of exploring and developing the world as you go, it's definitely got it here. And even if things are always in the same position, every time you visit those things, they might be different and new. So you're definitely building this map up and discovering it as you go.
Okay, that's totally fine. I can see that. I can, yeah. It's in a lightweight kind of a discovery.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I haven't played that one, so.
Yeah. Well.
So my number 5 is the game that also has this kind of discovering the water spaces and the icy landscapes of because I feel like discovery wise, it's really well done how you discover those styles. Expedition Northwest Passage is my
this must
number
be a game
5.
that only you play.
No, I haven't played this in ages.
Okay.
I have not played this one in ages, but I would like to get it back because, as you can see, this is the whole map and this is empty map, and you're going from the Greenland, I think, to the Northwest Passage. You need to move your ships and things, and you are basically laying down those different tiles. You kind of know what you're laying down, but still you are building up the route and the map. The problem is that the ice spaces and the water spaces are 2 different spaces, as you're going, and if there's water between the ice spaces, you can go there with your sleds, and you can go there with your ships. But there's that sun mechanism. As you can see, these tokens right here. So it goes around, and you can see this token here, and it shows you that at some point, for example, the sun warms up this stuff, so it becomes water or stuff like that. And if it's like the upper part now, all the water is now frozen, so you cannot really go there with the ship. I don't remember exactly. I need to reread rules, but the thing is that the landscape will change, so you can have an ice in the water, but at some point the water freezes. So technically you cannot go there with the ship, and sometimes you can get stuck and you can lose your crew, and you need to switch between the ship and the sleds all the time in order to maximize your movement. You need to be wise about that, because you can just, get stuck, and then the crew is lost thematically as well. Mm-hmm. And you will never reach, like in expeditions, sometimes people get lost and they're never found. So this is a really cool mechanism of how the water freezes versus it's like, for example, if you are with your sled on the water space, you drown if you don't get away from there, It's stuff like that, and then you need to go to Northwest Passage and then go back. So basically you're building up the map as you go to Northwest Passage, and then you need to come back to your home. And that's where you go by this already built map. Maybe by different routes based on this, how the sun goes.
All right.
It's a really interesting game. I think you would like it.
Maybe someday. This is one that I think is one of. I have some games that only I ever play, and I think this might be one of the ones for you.
It's been somewhat popular, but I would really love it to come back, into print and be, maybe revised and etc. Yeah, That's just such a cool idea and mechanism and theme.
Sure. All right.
Let's get to number 4.
Let's go. Okay, my number 4 is another in the list of games you have not played. This is a game where you start out, much like in Mansions of Madness, you start out on one area and you don't know what the world's going to look like from there. An app will, of course, show you how to develop it. The game is Destinies, and it is. This game's all about discovering what's going on in this world, where you are, where the things you're looking for are. Now, as you play it multiple times, you might start to know where they are, but you'll forget them after just a short time. And you're just going to keep going, and the app will tell you where to place things and when things become active or inactive, and you just never know what you're going to find. And you never know what interactions you're going to have either. So not only are you developing the map, you're developing sort of a story as you play through and interact with characters in the game. Yeah,
this is on my list to play. I have not played it, so but I'm eager to try this one out.
I think you'd enjoy it.
My number 4 is the game that you already talked about during this list, but didn't put in yours. And this is Subterra.
Ah, okay.
I mean, this is basically like, as you're saying, claustrophobia. You are building up this dungeon, and then there's a lot of these horrors and things. In a sense, this is in a lighter sense, but this is all about, as you can see here, building up the map out of the tiles. And then eventually, I don't know if this is a prototype thing going on here. I don't know. But anyway, you can see the idea. So you are in a cave. You start from some kind of a tile. You went down with a rope, and then you're discovering the cave. Eventually, discovering the floods, the gas, all the horrors and things. Trying to survive and find the gas very quickly. And yeah. This is the gas tiles, yeah, and the avalanches, not avalanches, but the
Cave-in.
cave-ins. Yeah, you are discovering all of that, all of the bad things. Sometimes it's like, whew, that's an empty spot here. It's fine, but the time is ticking. As you go, you don't want the deck of cards, the basically like event cards. Don't want it to end, because then you're gonna suffer a ton. And it depends on how many people or characters you get out. That's how many like points you get. Like you get a, let's say, bronze or silver or golden medal or whatever. You have some special abilities, etc. You're trying to find the exit. So yeah, this is all about just the main thing, and the main fun is building up this huge map. And sometimes you're stuck in particular corner because you went all the way like that, and then you're like, oh, I'm stuck now. I have to go all the way back, but now there's a cave in. What can I do? And I like, and there's a wall. I cannot explore into this or this side. It's like, yeah, it has a ton of that thing going on there. I like that. And I'm waiting for Subterra 2, which might not come out at all, because the publisher is just now is a one-man band. So they had to fire all the people. They don't have money. I'm not sure if we will ever get our games out. He promised that. He promised that they'll do their best, because there's a lot of that already produced. Some of the things are not yet produced, and the shipping quotes are yeah. And this is like 2.5 years. I don't know, at least 2 years.
Long. It's longer than that, I think. I don't remember when that one was on. I'm glad I dodged that bullet.
Yeah, it's in a really bad state. We'll see how it goes. I hope, but probably in a year, most likely. If yeah. All right. So let's get to number 3.
Let's go. Oh, righty. I'm having trouble reading my handwriting. All right, my number my number 3 is a game actually I thought of earlier when you were talking about how video games and board games are different experiences. And this one is a different experience, but it's a great exploration and world discovery game that's based on a video game that I also really enjoy. And the game is Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, I mean the board game, not the little card game that came out. This one, you are playing through sort of call it a campaign. It's a 3-game series, and you've got a story that's going on, and you pretty much start at this lamp, and then you're going to kind of go out and explore and see where different things come up. Now, these are, it's usually a fixed stack of tiles. There's some that are sort of definitely in there, and then some that could be anything you never quite know. And as you go through, you'll find different kinds of monsters. You'll find different kinds of locations, and you're usually looking for one particular location so you can pick something up or activate something or beat some sort of monster and then go somewhere else, and then some story happens. And based upon what you did, you'll get different kinds of results, which will take you sort of further on down a chain. You're definitely exploring a lot in this game and developing this map and discovering the world that you're in, because you don't really even know from the beginning of the game what you have to do what you have to do to win it. I mean, it feels very open-ended as you go in, and then based upon what happens, you're going to have positive or negative interactions as you go. And then, of course, every time you die, everything will respawn, and you'll have to you'll keep the progress you've made, but if you defeated monsters before, well, they're back to kill you again. So, but at least you know where they are, and you've discovered how they work. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the video game quite a lot. But this board game implementation actually just makes me want to play the video game more. So they work very well in tandem with each other.
All right. Okay. So My number 3 is the game that's basically all about discovering, building up the world, and trying to survive the curse that's Seventh Continent. I mean, there's no argue that this is all about discovering. This is all you do. It's a choose your own adventure game.
It is.
And you are building up this map of different tiles, and as you go, you go right, left, up, down. You go to these numbers and put down the cards and things and events and stuff and such. So this is all about the world and this building and discovery as it is. Choose your own adventure. Loosey goosey in like not in the rules section. I mean, like the rules aren't that well written, but it's sandbox discovery game. Let's say, yeah. Go anywhere you want, but the problem might be if you go somewhere
that you're not supposed to.
Yeah, you might just lose time or just lose. At some point you realize that, okay, I'm not going to go to that number because this is just a trap. It's like this game is a little bit guiding you a little bit. As you learn it. Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
There you go.
Let's get to number 2. Ryu.
Oh.
I had to stop. Ryu. I had to, and I don't know why I had. It's Ryu is from Street Fighter.
Oh,
the main
named Ryunosuke in One Piece, and that's the sound he makes is Ryu.
I think he, or I think they try to make Street Fighter quote there.
I don't think so. It's just a cute little dragon. Anyway,
whatever.
Let's go on to our number 2. My number 2 is one that I initially it's not what the game's about, but it's definitely a part of the game, and that is sort of building up this world, and the positioning of where things come out is very important. The game is Dwellings of Eldervale, one I've actually been playing a lot lately. But a big part of this game is
I can see that.
Building up this map. Look, it's not the best looking map.
It's an amazing looking map.
But it's definitely, one of the major actions of the game is to place these new locations out, and being able to decide, and build up where they're going to go can really be very important. Because your positioning on this map can be critical to what you're able to do on your next turn. Having things come out in the right way and developing this is very important. I really enjoy the game. I've been enjoying the game a lot lately, actually. So that's why it was top of my mind as I was thinking of this. But yeah, you're definitely building up this map as you go.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's a cool game. I've never played the finished product, so it's not something I really need to play. But it was. I mean, like it's not. It wasn't easy to get this one. If you didn't back it, then now it's coming out. Now it has new prints coming out. But yeah, it's yeah. We'll see. Anyway, my number 2 is so my first 2 games here, number 2 and number 1, are basically why I was thinking about this list in the first place. So my number 2 is Living Planet. And let's go with the Deluxe Edition. Okay. Okay, let's not go with the Deluxe Edition. Doesn't have any pictures. Nope. 14 plus. Okay. It's no. We are 13. So basically, Living Planet is discovering the planet and laying down these tiles, and this is crucially important because there are those disasters. You can build buildings on there. You can build all the stuff, move around. And grab the resources. Excavate the resources, etc. The central mechanism is discovering the planet and then doing everything you can with it. And building up the map as you go. So yeah. It's there's not much to say. There's economy as well that you manage, which I like, and I like the disasters, and I like the idea of how the cards work with the dice, how you basically kind of create the strategy for the next round, like basically choosing the card, which is a dice value, and it gives you different things like action points and what disasters are going to be triggered and all the other stuff and how many resources you get, blah blah blah. This is like a really cool idea. I really like it a lot. This is not the game that you play for the first time and you love. It seems so. This is the rare case for me where I didn't like it. I didn't like it as much when I played for the first time. I'm like, something's not good. I'm like, something's missing. And then I played it again and again, and then I liked it more. Then I realized, okay, now I see. I need to cut ties with one other game that I like really enjoyed before, so I could see this as a new game and as a spiritual successor more than just a sequel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Living Planet,
okay.
Number 2.
Very well. I'm not surprised to see it on your list. I, in fact, anticipated that one, but
yeah, it's a good game.
Okay.
Let's go to the number 1. Numero 1.
Yeah, my number 1's another game you haven't played. In fact, I think most of these games are games you haven't played. But
we're gonna do top 10 games that we haven't played.
Oh well, but I could definitely do that, I'm sure. So this game is a game that's really all about this exploration of this world you find yourself in. You're discovering what's there. You're discovering what your objectives are. You've crash landed on a planet and know nothing about it, and you're a bunch of scientists, not fighters, so you've got to kind of solve things, and there's a bunch of different scenarios and ways you can play, which are all going to be different and interesting. The game is Unsettled.
Mm-hmm. I thought about that one. On your list, I have not played that one.
You thought about that? I was going to say, but you shouldn't think about it if you haven't played it.
No, for your list.
It's definitely, so I will say, this is a game that is probably best at 2. When you add more people on, I don't know that it kind of becomes a little unmanageable. I'm not sure that it scales well for more than 2, but that's just my personal experience. But really, I mean, you've got this there's a bunch of different planets you could be exploring, and they're all going to be different anyway. With different cards that you're flipping over or placing. Sometimes it's a free-form open map. Sometimes it's fixed and you're just kind of discovering it. Sometimes you see everything at the beginning. It really depends. I mean, in one, you're exploring an alien head that's floating in space, and so you know where all of the parts of the head are, but you don't know what you're going to be finding. It's all about this sense of discovering the world that you find yourself in, discovering where the resources are, discovering where you can build things, where you can mine things, what you can find to help you ultimately solve whatever problem you have and fix your ship and get off the planet.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I've not played this one. I'm not sure I'm going to buy this one. Yeah.
It's a hard game to play. But just because, you know, it's a weird game. It's one to try, I think, but I don't know that I'd say you should.
It seems weird. I watched it being played, trying to understand, and then like, okay, it's not. It doesn't interest me.
Okay.
In a sense. Maybe if I'll play it, might be more interesting. It always is. Anyway, my number 1. There's like, as I said, there's 2 games that I've thought about where I thought about this particular list that made me, do this topic of the day. And my number 1 is the one that is really pretty much related to Living Planet. But this is not a sequel.
Really?
Yeah. Archipelago.
What?
Yeah. But I mean, like, Archipelago is, in a sense, this was my first game where I like got to try this kind of a exploration and board building, the map building in a sense, and it was such a great idea. I loved it to the core, trying to fit those styles with the landscapes and things, and you discover those spaces and the resources that you need. You're building the different tiles, the buildings on that, etc. I mean, this game needs a revised edition and streamlining and etc. It's need a new edition. You can exclude the problematic problematic theme as well, but I make it into exploration in fantasy world, whatever. You can do whatever. That's how Living Planet, for example, was made. In a sense, the exploration part of Living Planet is very similar to the one in Archipelago. Why I would say it's a spiritual successor. But Archipelago was first, and yeah, everything else, the worker placement and building up and stuff. But I mean, you could see everybody wanting to do this exploration and build up the map. Like it's one of their favorite things. So, sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry. That's Archipelago, my number one.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about this one, but I assumed you'd have it on your list, so I figured you could cover this one. I really like the game. I like it a lot more than Living Planet, to be honest. But I I don't know. There's a lot going on in this one, and so I find that it's a difficult one to get out and play.
Kinda is, but kinda not.
It's also a tough game to teach. Because it requires people to understand what their end game cards are.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
To that, and it's all done in symbols, and those symbols don't make any sense. And so it's relying on people's ability to interpret and understand those cards, because the game falls apart if people don't understand those. So
yeah. I mean, I would disagree that this is a really complex game. If we think about, like we talked about, Spirit Island. Spirit Island is more complex than Archipelago in a sense. I would say this is a straightforward. There's a lot of straightforward things going on there. Yeah, there's some complicated things as well. Endgame cards. This is something that now Living Planet didn't do. They did fixed rounds. Amazing, because endgame cards, just burn them. They don't work. They just don't work.
Now, see, that's my favorite part of the game. It's just fragile because it requires because of how the cards are designed. I mean, they really have text on it.
Yeah, I don't. I like everything else. I like the buying of the cards and using their abilities, building them up. Everything else, I like everything else except this one. And yeah. So that's something that was fixed in Living Planet. That's why I don't have Archipelago. And I have Living Planet because it does something. It gives me this vibe of exploration, but gives me some other things which I like better than in Archipelago. But I hope maybe someday they'll revise this into another theme. And because Living Planet is not Archipelago, and whoever says it is, no, never. Okay. These are two completely different games. Especially if you add the expansions to Living Planet. Completely different games. Okay. So yeah. Anyway,
well, that's our list. I mean, the only one that I think I won't say I forgot it, but I did not put it on the list, and it definitely would have been. It might have been my 1.5 or somewhere. But I talk about it. I've been talking about it so much lately. Is Shadows of Brimstone, but which is also a pretty good sort of exploration style game. But it feels kind of the same type as both Claustrophobia and Mansions of Madness, and so I ultimately left it off. But hey, it also is a pretty good game with this sort of experience.
Yeah, I was thinking about Cloud Age is not the one I was thinking about. Cloud Age is not really doing anything like that. No, I was thinking like Betrayal. I forgot, and I was thinking about Forgotten Waters just a tiny bit, but you are basically laying down those tiles, but sometimes they go back into. I mean, it doesn't really feel like you're building up the world. It's already there. You're just exploring the sea,
discovering it.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, it is discovery, but I'm not building up the map. It's already pre-built, and all the other stuff, the tiles that you put down there are just encounters that you encounter in the open sea. It's not like you're building up the spot and now it becomes an island. It's not. It's just an event that goes most likely goes away after you resolve it. You know. Yeah. So yeah, I considered this one, but not really. And anything else, I don't know, sci-fi in a sense that you're building something up, but not really. The world is already there, and you're just expanding your influence on that world. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Very well. Well, there we go. That's another one.
One more. I was thinking about if you would argue with me, but I just didn't feel like it's discovering and building up. Building up is underwater cities, where you build up your city, but yeah, you're not really moving in there. It just abstractly, it's just building up your resource.
I mean, I thought about it. I mean, as I was thinking of games that I enjoy that sort of have that I thought about it, but immediately dismissed it because that's just really not what that game's about.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching, and sorry for the longer episode, but that's fine. That's fine. Anyway,
don't watch it if you don't want to.
We'll see you in a few weeks.
That's right.
I mean, to be honest, when I'm thinking about this one, we won't be there for at least 3 weeks because I'm away on 15th.
Oh, well, that's all right. We'll get together again at some point.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we do episodes on Sunday, so we might reschedule it something to Sunday, or I'll do an episode while Kyle's away. I'll do a solo episode on something,
Sure.
We'll see. Or maybe Kyle can join us from Essen if the internet allows.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That sounds sketchy, I'm sure.
yeah, that it depends on the
but we
Wi-Fi.
can do a post Essen episode, and I can talk about it if you want. But we'll see how it goes once I get there.
All right. Anyway, thank you, and we'll see you another time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.